Hello there and welcome to Shuttlebay 4. This time, we watch the montage of mediocrity that is Shades of Grey. Yes, it's the one where Riker gets pricked by a thorn, and in order to save his life, he has to be prevented from having erotic dreams.
I admit I didn't watch this shit episode. I couldn't bring myself to watch it.
You didn't watch it?
No, fuck you. So what I did instead was try and find out something interesting.
Ah, good.
What I've done is go into like the background and go, okay, I'm not watching it. What can I find?
Yeah. No, that's good. It feels like we need something.
I have got something to say.
Didn't you, old boy?
I got a drink now. No?
What have you got? Let me guess. Vodka and Coke.
Yes.
Where are we? What are we looking at? Oh yeah, Shades of Shades of Grey. Right, you've not watched it, Brush. You do your facts in a minute if you want. Steve, do you want to go first?
I'm gonna just address that. It's not that you didn't watch it, Brush. I chose not to.
You chose not to watch it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's fine.
Daniel.
Do you want to go first then, Steve, with Shades of Grey?
To be perfectly honest,
You didn't watch it either.
a little bit like Brush. Two-part reason. A, I've not had time, and B, I didn't really want to.
In that case, then, right, I'm speaking on behalf of all of us. Right, here we go then. Shades of Grey. So these are my notes. So my first note is Geordi's nipples. I don't know if anybody else noticed, but you could really see Geordi's nipples in this episode.
It might be worth watching now.
It is worth watching for that. But I thought maybe he suffers from the same affliction as me because I have quite pronounced nipples. And throughout, people are always mentioning it when I'm at work. Oh, are you cold, Dan? I'm like, no, I've just got really erect nipples all the time. I'm always in a state of excitement. The next comment I've got is, it's often mentioned that Pulaski's a bit like McCoy in TNG, and she really, really hates transporters. And I thought that was quite McCoy-esque. That was quite cool to see.
I hope these are the right coordinates. Just kidding, Doctor. I know how much you love the transporter.
About as much as I love comical transporter chiefs.
Do you know, because of that, I thought, why don't you just change it slightly? Rather than it being transporter, which is exactly comparison to McCoy, why didn't they just make it something else? You know what I mean? Because she is crotchety.
Yeah.
And she is that kind of character. But to make it the transporter.
Yeah. Medical tricorders.
Though was so obvious.
I know, yeah. But I did notice, because the last episode we watched was a bit further on in the series, I really liked the early uniforms. I looked at them and I thought, for some reason, I always remember the early uniforms looking shit, but they don't. They actually look quite nice.
The reason they changed them was because of the cast complaints, wasn't it, more than anything? But
exactly,
I kind of agree, because it was a proper jumpsuit. And this is the last episode, then you'll see those uniforms, because obviously they change them and they up for season 3.
Yeah.
I hate those uniforms. I much prefer the one with the collar. Yeah, I think they look so much smarter.
It's because of the piping, isn't it? The piping is there on season 1 and 2, and it's not there from season 3, I think. Is that right?
Well, season 3's got the collar. I think season 3 is the proper top. I think.
Right, okay.
Or maybe it's the zip-up one. I can't remember. But the season 3 has got, the pronounced
It
collar
has definitely got a different top as well.
Yeah. Pulaski's uniform looked particularly good in this episode. I like that. It's like the blue. It's like a dress, but with trousers. And I do like that, and it's really bright blue as well. So far, you'll notice that all my comments are quite positive about this episode.
Well, no, you're really digging here.
I am digging.
Ooh, Pulaski's uniform is quite nice in this episode. That's a really interesting point. Yeah.
Well, I also like.
It's an in-depth. It's an in-depth sort of listing when he starts off with George's nipples. You can't really go much further down than there, can you? Really?
Yeah. Nipples and uniforms. When the excuse nipples and uniforms
right there.
That's the thumbnail quote. I do like the kind of like pseudoscience around why the biofilters whatever didn't get rid of this virus from Riker, when he transported on board, because it's fused to his nervous system. And I thought it's good how they throw you a bit of a science bone. There's a reason why we can't just cure him. And I did quite like that, because I do like it when you get a bit of science.
The organisms fused to the nerve.
Riker, by the way, in this episode, I think is brilliant. Now, for most of it, he's got nothing to do. He just lays there and pretends to be asleep. But when he does talk, he is funny. He tries to keep people positive despite his situation. And he's actually the only person keeping morale up. And there's a couple of things I noticed in this episode that I was quite surprised at. Okay, so Pulaski says to Picard, Commander Riker could die. But when she says it, she's literally stood right next to Riker. Like, you'd at least take Picard to one side. You know what I mean?
Commander Riker could die.
There we go. D's it. D.
Right.
Oh, Jesus Christ, D.
Get on!
Run!
Just to fill you in, we were just going through Shades
This
of
amazing
Grey.
episode.
This amazing episode.
Wait
So-
a minute, just let me interject. Dee, did you watch this?
Yes, of course I did. Got me
Oh,
notes.
fine.
Hey,
Okay,
nice one.
excellent. I'm so glad for them.
So,
Oh my God, Bobbin.
right, like I was saying, Riker in this
We've been off
episode,
the book yet.
Riker in this episode is quite chipper. He keeps everybody's morale up. He's quite positive. And then Pulaski literally stands right next to him when she's saying to Picard, Commander Riker could die. And like, she should really have taken Picard to one side to say that. She shouldn't say literally stood right in front of Riker. Similarly, Riker, when he's talking to Picard, and again, he's trying to keep the mood, he's trying to keep it light, you know, it's not in a good way. And he says that the thing that infected him looked quite harmless. Now, Picard's response to that should have been something along the lines of, oh, it wasn't as harmless as it looked, or I wish it wasn't harmless. But he actually turns around and says, and deadly. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's written him off. He writes Riker off, honestly.
Rather harmless looking, isn't it? And deadly. I'm sorry.
He may as well start conducting interviews for a new number one position next to Riker's bed. It just feels as though it's written him off. I'm sorry. Pulaski's way of keeping Riker alive with that weird thing that puts spikes into his head, I quite like that, actually. I thought that was quite good.
That design was good. Yeah, I like that.
I thought the overall idea was quite good as well. So far, up to this point, I think the episode is actually quite good. The Data's got some good lines in it as well. There's a lot of good, to and fro in, a few good lines.
Is this before any clips? Yeah.
Yeah. But to quote TNG, all good things must come to an end. So it then turns into a clip show. But because these aren't just like the best of the last two seasons, because it's focusing on moments with Riker, you're not really getting the best of. It's just those little moments, and a lot of them are quite poor. So the first thing you get is actually quite good. You get that exchange with Data from season right at the beginning of season 1, and I actually really like that, and it shows you how far they've come. But then as soon as that finishes, you get that cringy flirting with Guinan. That's awful to watch.
You are the most beautiful woman in the galaxy.
You then get those awful white camel toe costumes, which again are awful to watch. You then got cringy holodeck creepiness. You've got a montage of sexual conquests
Do you not like girls?
that are so ridiculous, it's hilarious. And I noticed at this point they don't show Riker's lower half while he's in the medical bay, because presumably he's got a right stonk on, because Troy even confirms he's just having erotic dreams at this stage.
Riker's emotions are rather passionate.
As in erotic?
Very much so.
In fact,
I get the feeling she's a bit jealous because I think she thinks that they're not about me.
maybe so. But at this point, right, he's literally being killed by erotic dreams. They've got to stop him from constantly having randy thoughts in order to save him. And that's the episode.
Yeah.
That's basically it. He's having dreams, horny dreams, and they need to dial it back a bit. And then it turns into a clip show of fairly mediocre moments from the first two seasons.
Do you not like girls?
It ends with a joke. And notice I've gone right to the end of the episode now, because there's nothing more to say about that. It ends with a joke, which might possibly have been quite a good joke if it was a decent episode. But because it's a poor episode, it just seems a bit shit.
I do not believe you have the authority to promote me to the rank of Admiral.
The best part of this viewing experience for me was when this episode finished and the next episode started, the opening shot of the next episode looked gorgeous. They must have had some right budget
Of
for
course it
season 3.
did. It was.
Well, wait a minute. You don't see that in this episode. You've just carried on.
No, I'm on about the viewing experience was much better when the next episode started. But whereas Spock's Brain, which was the episode I was editing that episode today. Oh my. Whereas Spock's Brain was rubbish but enjoyable.
He was worse than dead. His brain is gone.
This just comes across as lazy, cost-saving rubbish. It adds nothing to Star Trek The Next Generation. It's not one of those fun episodes where you think, oh, it's a bit daft, I'll enjoy it. It's just shit. And I didn't enjoy it, and that's it.
Well, thanks for choosing it then.
Yeah, I chose it, didn't I? I may as well have just sat there and punched myself in the balls.
I mean, that's not still too late, mate. Feel free.
I deserve that. Patches, just to let you know, Brush and Steve decided not to watch this episode on principle because it's so crap. But
I
Dean,
did other things instead.
oh, yeah, actually, Steve's been busy. He's not had time. Sorry.
Well, I didn't watch it this week. I watched it a couple of weeks ago.
Oh!
No,
You preempted. Well done.
Because.
Well, you just chose to watch it at random.
No,
Hey,
I was watching another episode of Star Trek, and it just kind of rolled on.
Oh, okay.
And I just didn't turn it off, and I caught quite a lot of this one. It wasn't that memorable, so I don't remember a lot of detail in it. But
so you don't remember Geordi's nipples? Come on,
Geordi's nipple. I don't remember much about it. I remember the things in his head, and is it a nebula or something that gets him? I don't know.
Oh no, come on! You just rely
It's always
on
the
nebula.
nebula.
All the time, you are.
Is it a nebula though?
It was a thorn. It was a dangerous
thorn. That's it. Yeah. And it gets him with some sort of virus, and he needs to be made angry or something.
Fused to his DNA.
It's fused to his nervous system. And what happens, Patches, is basically when he's unconscious,
badly to the negative vibes that he's being told to experience, and that creates an hostile environment for this organism to survive in his body. While I think they're drilling holes in his head or something. They got this thing, and is Pulaski doing
what
that?
to say?
Is she drilling holes in his head? Is she? She is, isn't she?
It did go into his head, because when they come out, it's got little red marks where the holes are.
Yeah, so it takes me back to the what's his name?
Look at her, she's gone old fashioned.
Dr. McCoy. My God, man, drilling holes in his head isn't the answer. You know. I think that's Star Trek 4.
My God, man, drilling holes in his head's not the answer.
Why they didn't have like one of them, just a thing that they put it like.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah.
Why didn't we have that? I don't know why we didn't have that. I thought
it was one of the most interesting parts of the episode. That's why.
Well, yeah, the machine, that does the
Yeah, let's make it quite fancy because there's nothing else going on.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We can't just have him laid there, twitching and pulling faces, or acting. We'll have to. We'll have to do something else. We'll have to have a brain hole machine or whatever that is. And I think Pulaski, she was like, oh, it's not working. It's working. If we do this, this is working. Oh, it stopped working. Oh, now let's try this. And now this is working. Now it's not working. I think she struggled with those lines a bit. I think everyone struggled with this shit. And it was shit. It was the laziest.
No wonder Pulaski left after that.
Yeah, it's like, is this where we're going with this?
That's the last episode she was ever in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Bit of a difference, isn't it, when you compare it to when I think it might have been you saying it, Patches, when we did the episode where we talked about doctors, where you've got Dr. Bashir, who on Deep Space Nine is on about he wants to do frontier medicine, and then you've got Pulaski dealing with Riker and his wet dreams.
Yeah.
Chris and John Joe are on. Boom, 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 boom.
Hello.
Oh, I didn't think you'd be able to make it tonight, Dan.
Well, I made it. I got in. It was just a couple of minutes to spare.
Jonathan Frakes' greatest hits kind of thing.
Do you not like girls?
No, it's not even greatest hits.
Wait a minute, though. From season 1 and 2, that was basically every clip of Riker we had, wasn't he? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he wasn't great in season 1 and 2.
No.
Yeah, we got the beardless Riker and the baby-faced Riker, and flashbacks to that kind of shit, and I, it was on in the background, but I mean, the one where the Enterprise.
That's all it deserved, Patches. That's all it deserved.
Yeah,
at least
the
you
one
tried.
with the Enterprise. I got slated when I picked the one with the Enterprise. Comes up with this little like zigzaggy baby thing that floats off into space.
Oh yeah.
You know, the one where the train situation on the holodeck.
Emergence.
That was shit. Emergence. That was shit. Why did you pick that?
That was a great episode.
Thank you.
John Joe, no, it wasn't, and John Hater, you decided it wasn't as well.
Let me put it into context. This was shit. This was hard. I mean, it
wasn't really an episode, was it? That's the thing. No. It just really wasn't
right.
Episode. And it did come down to them saying, "We're not paying you money for this." So.
Yeah, I can't say that I like the set design or I like the particular alien or I like the particular characters, because in this.
What have you got against Thorns?
Yeah. Yeah.
Thorns.
It was a well-established set. The only thing that was different was the brain machine, that harness with the things going in his, which I thought was weak. And again, go back to the Bones line. My God, man, drilling holes in his head's not the answer. And what do? They drill holes in his head. So it was shocking from start to finish. It was shocking. Yeah, Shades of Grey. I mean, the title's pretty good. It's just Shades of shit, boring.
That's what I said. Shades of shit. What is Shades of Grey? Oh yeah, it's Grey's in Grey matter. Is that what it's referring to? I don't know. Just something else.
Shades of Grey is just saying, isn't it? It's like.
I think that the expression is there's nothing wholly good or wholly bad. There is no black and white. It's just shades of grey, varying degrees of grey.
Okay.
And I think that's what we're saying about Riker, that he's not good, he's not bad, he's grey.
I don't know. It's like, even that, I understand what you're saying, but the reason that was happening was because they were doing parts to his brain so that his emotions were changing, wasn't it? So that he could fight off this virus. So really, there is no message behind it. There's nothing. It was so badly written that there is nothing. It was just, you've got like no days, you've got no budget, make an episode, basically. So it was a clip show. It's the only clip show, isn't it, of Star Trek?
There is, but there's no take home, is there, from this? There is no at the end of it. There's
no, because there's other
no
shows.
moral
Loads of shows
story,
have done clip shows, and they've been really good because the way they've done them. You know what I mean? Usually they've got quite a lot of back catalogue to bring a clip show forward, whereas it was the last episode of season 2. They have nothing as a back catalogue really to go on for one character.
Well, I don't know why they just end the season. The next previous
Do you know,
episode.
There's
you just end it.
Several times they said we should have just made it 21 episodes. But it was already, because of the writer's strike that year, it was already gone from, 26 episodes to 22. So it was like, why didn't you just not show this episode or make it, literally save that tiny bit of budget?
Yeah. In with there being no moral, that could have been literally anyone on a table and another set of clips, and it wouldn't have made any difference. It could have been clips of Picard, it could have been clips of Data, it could have been clips of Spot. Wouldn't have made any difference.
So what was worse then? Spock's brain or Shades of Grey?
Shades of Grey,
Shades of Grey. Shit.
Shades of Grey
is interesting.
Yeah. It is awful. It's just clips, and it's not. There isn't anything behind the clips to make a theme. It's not like all the clips make a theme going through it. It is just like him in the background going, all right, make him happy, make him sad, make him horny, make him this.
Yeah.
Just a recap. It's basically a recap, isn't it? It's
of everything Riker did,
but it is.
Yeah.
It's close.
A pointless recap because it goes nowhere. Did anyone roll their eyes at Spock's brain? Did anyone find it funny? Did anyone, see how kitsch?
Do you know what though? Do you know what? This is interesting because that's looking back retrospectively on it now and going back to it, whereas you can imagine the people watching it at the time, this was their Shades of Grey. You got notes on this? Come on.
I did. Well, it starts off on an unexplored planet. Does Pulaski like anybody? She was right short with O'Brien at the transporter. Oh, well, I like transporting as much as I like transporter teams. Do you like anybody? Do you like anyone? And then when he goes down and they grab the thorn and they get it out, and Geordi just rocks up on the transporter with it hanging about. He's killing Riker.
Geordi with his nipples.
But he's just there waving it about, going, "Yeah, sir, this is the thing." Open your mouth. He's not put it in a container or anything. He's just got it there going, "Look, sir, this is it. Hey, we got it." And I'm thinking, are you joking? It's just killed things over millennia, and you're just there wafting it about in front of his face. Are you stupid? It's killing Riker. Put it in a bag or something. But no, he thinks he's dead clever. And then you can see the captain is very worried. He's losing his first officer. Pulaski just basically bins him off. She's like, can I do anything? Yeah, get out of my hair. In other words, piss off, I'm busy.
What can I do?
You can get out of my hair.
I know he's dying, but what do you want me to do about it? Now do one. I just thought she was a bit, can you know what I mean? Bedside manner. You ain't the AMH, love. Calm down. You can't talk to the captain like that. He's in distress. He's losing his bestie. Do you know what I mean? He's really upset. And then she starts operating on his brain to slow down the infections and giving him a dream sequence. And the thing that got me was with Data, you know when he does the Pop Goes the Weasel bit? Data was smiling. What's all that about?
Yeah, I've noticed that. But whenever he smiles, in my mind, again, this is all like headcanon stuff. It's him mimicking human. You know, it's like experimenting with different facial expressions, see how people react. You know, whether people are warm to him. So in my mind, when you see him smile, because he, especially in the early season, you do see him emote. You quite obviously see him emote. He looks surprised or whatever.
But you see, Spock came out in that one we watched with was it The Cage when that musical Leaf was playing? Spock.
Yeah, but that's. I don't think they quite established what Spock was at that stage. I think that's why. Right. But in terms of Data, I always think when he smiles or whatever, it's just him because he's communicating with people. It's not him emoting. It's him just displaying what's expected from a human. See, you know, to make interactions more natural with people. In my mind,
imitation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Or it was Laura all along.
Yeah, Laura all along. Yeah.
I still can't. Yeah.
Oh my God, Rachel would love that comment.
The majority, it was a three-hand. I know Picard and that had a few lines and you know, but well, the clips and stuff. But the clips had already been filmed. The clips were already in the can, and they were just edited in. But it was basically a three-hander. It was Deanna, Pulaski, and well, not even Riker really, because he just lay there. So it was just the two women, Picard every now and again popping in, going. I mean, I'm glad it was two strong women characters, the majority of the episode. Don't get me wrong, that I was pleased about. But it could have been a bloody better episode for that pair of them, really. It was just her crying and her stress, you know, stop stressing, I'm trying to work. Do you know what I mean? It was just the majority of how can we control this virus and we've got it down to 7%, but it's not enough.
Growth rate's down to 7%.
It's like, well, try something else then. Don't just stand there going, oh, it's not working. It's not working. What can we do? Oh, she was doing me head in by the end of it, Deanna. She really was with all the, do something. No, go away if you can't handle it. Get out of the room, because they wouldn't normally let a hysterical woman stay by the bedside getting in the bloody way.
See, if you'd have been there, would you have got that thorn and just jabbed her with it? There you go.
Get on the bed next to him then.
It's another one of them episodes as well where he's clearly like in pain or upset, and she's like, I'm sensing pain. It's like, no shit, Diana. Cheers.
The whole plot of this was he got jabbed by a thorn, and then they had to stop him from having erotic dreams in order to save him. And that is basically what happened. And I'm not taking the piss. That is the plot.
I must have. I think I need to watch seasons 1 and 2 again, because there's a hell of a lot of clips going. And what episode is that from?
Yeah, but you didn't.
Hell a lot.
Some of them were terrible. Like there's that classic racist episode with, do you not like girls? You know, with its spaceships.
Do you not like girls?
Then you've got that awful. I mentioned before you joined that awful scene where he's flirting with Guinan.
You don't know how long I've wanted to tell you that.
But you're afraid.
Yes.
Of me?
Of us, of what we might become.
Where he's showing, I think, Wesley Crusher how to flirt, and it's awful. It's really awful to watch. I really cringe with that.
Hang on a minute. You've gone with the obviously racist one, and you picked possibly the least. What about the one with the tribe people where the roll out?
There's no clip.
Yeah, but I don't think there's a clip of that in this. That's what I mean.
Not to be fair.
No, but yeah, that is. I mean, that's often voted the worst episode.
The worst. This trumps that one sometimes in the voting, but obviously Code of Honor comes top.
Yeah, that when I showed that to my missus, because my missus is significantly more modern than I am. Yeah. And she just like looked at me and was like, "You're not fucking serious." And I was like, "Yeah, wait," and just the entire thing was like just spent with her going, "Holy shit!"
It is bad. That is a bad episode.
John, is your house on fire?
Why?
No,
it looks like you've got a smoke machine on. Oh, you're vaping.
It's vaping.
I do have a smoke machine.
Jesus.
He likes to do the transporter effect. No.
Okay.
What?
Here we go. Watch this. Ready?
You better work, Patches.
Hey!
That was awesome.
D, were there any bits of this episode that you liked? Just out of interest.
Yeah, the credits.
There we go.
I mean,
there's Pulaski in it. I think Pulaski is really good in it.
There's things going on in the background. There's the onesie costume is there with no collar, and whenever I see that, I know that I'm in for a bit of a rough ride.
Oh, Dan has mentioned that's his favourite uniform in it. Not favourite. I mean, it's
no,
like.
But yeah, I remember because when I very first started watching TNG was probably about season 4 onwards, maybe 3. I didn't see those, you know. And when I then saw the season 1 and 2, I was like, oh my god, those are awful. So, but it's only now watching. I think actually they're not as bad as I remember them being. So I do quite like them.
Well, there's some bit parts going on here. Like I say, O'Brien makes a cameo at the beginning when he beams up Riker.
He's the only guest actor in this episode.
Yeah, there's a couple of nondescript kind of nurses that lay Riker down. When Geordi and Data beam back to the planet, they're wading up to their knees in water on the set. And they don't know what's happened to Riker at this point. And they're like, let's wade into this water and see what's happening. And yeah, they could have come out covered in leeches or something like that. Data's hairstyle shit. He's almost getting to the mullet stage. If you see the bit where he comes back from the planet with Geordi and he's talking to the captain, his hair, that we're getting towards the end of the season there, and they're like, should we give him a haircut now? Let him go.
Are you not going to use your phrase, Patches, that you used for Q when you said he had a bit of a mullet?
What, business in the front, pie in the back?
Yeah.
Did anyone else watch the episode actually and have any notes to make?
There was one thing that I wanted to mention.
Go for it, Chris.
See, I always took this episode as people really slagged Riker off. You know, like, what is the point of this character? He's literally the captain's mouthpiece. That's about it. So I think they kind of made this episode with all these clips. See, he does do something. He is worth it. He is worth it. I think that's what it was. It was just shut the critics up.
Possibly. That's an interesting take, actually. And I didn't think of that, but I guess, yeah. Because I did think that of Riker in season 1 and 2. There wasn't much to him, except a kind of Kirk.
In season 1 and 2, Data has a lot of episodes, and so does Picard, right? And to be honest, Wesley has quite a lot of episodes as well.
Yeah.
But Riker doesn't, and it's only now you've mentioned it, that this is really the first Riker episode. And what a really shit...
What does he get to do? Lay down.
Well, if this is the first Riker episode, I'm surprised he made season 3.
I mean, when you think about it, obviously Spock was first officer in the original series, but he had a proper job. He was also the science officer.
Yeah. Do you know what?
All Riker was just a mouthpiece.
They do change it because the first officers sometimes have like a proper background and a job. Whereas it turns out in the future kind of episodes we see, first officers don't really have a job, do they?
And I've got it playing in front of me right now. And after the Guinan scene, we get the Mankini scene and the oiled up body massage thing.
That's all right. That's fine. Don't mind that.
It's painful. Oh, there's Tasha Yar. Yeah.
Yes. That's the only good part about this episode is
you see Tasha Yar.
You get to see Tasha Yar die again.
Yeah.
I distinctly dislike Tasha Yar as
there's
as
lots
a
of people who dislike Tasha Yar, and I
love Tasha Yar, and you're getting wrong. Tasha Yar was blinding.
She couldn't act.
Gorgeous.
She couldn't act, and then she died and came back later as a Romulan and played a blinding role. I think she went to acting school. It was fucking terrible, and then she came back and is one of my favourite guest characters. You can't say she's a good actor because you fancy her, John.
Yeah, I can. I didn't really rate John Hurt in The Elephant Man. I just don't know what it was about it.
Hey, John Joe, cheers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cheers.
I need to fill my glass.
I just filled mine.
Okay. I like Tasha. I did like Tasha, and I would. Do you know what? Like, don't you regret though the fact that we didn't get to see her character grow as much as we saw everyone else's? Because
Yeah.
They would have given her a story arc. They would have given her some background. They already had it with, like they brought her sister into it, didn't they, in one episode?
Yeah.
And it would have been nice to have seen her background on that planet where she was this child that was like lonely and went through. It sounded like she went through rape and everything like that. To be honest.
Yeah,
they could have done that.
And it would have been nice to have
well,
found out a bit more
Rape
about that
squads
background.
going round. She was a strong character. She had a strong arc. She had a strong place on the bridge. She had that come from nothing. Went through Starfleet. One of the waifs and strays that was.
And also,
collected
like a
by
female security officer, but chief security officer. I think that was super important as well. It was like another bit of Star Trek showing diversity because it was back in the 80s at the time.
And she was hard as nails.
Get in the black slime.
I think there was an episode where she had to do, like, she entered into single combat, didn't she, with someone, because she was she was kidnapped as a sex slave, and she said, "I'm not having this."
Code of Honor episode.
Is that what?
That's the Code of Honor episode.
Yeah, that's Code of Honor. Yeah, you will be my wife. Will I?
I think this is the best episode ever to fall asleep to.
Oh, to fall asleep to, he said. Let him finish.
I use it to fall asleep to. Right? Any episode that's got a virus or a microbe a crap. The Voyager one with the nebula.
No.
That was a microbe.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Voyager one with the
microbe.
nebula. Which of the 76 episodes are you talking about?
Are you talking about the macro virus one, the big fucking thing?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I'm not having that.
That's an
That's
amazing
it.
episode,
You're cancelled.
The bit going back to undiscovered country, I won't knock that bit, but that crap fucking organism.
No, it's amazing.
It's shit.
No, I'm with Jed. I'm with Jed on that.
Janeway in a vest. Janeway in a vest kicking ass. There's nothing better than that.
Right.
Sorry, Jed. Do you want to get back? We interrupted
Jed.
Yeah, it's just lazy writing. It's not even writing. No, it's just we'll just have a flip back of the most boringest character in Star Trek. I've never been a Riker fan. He does nothing.
He's a bully. He's a bloody bully. I mean, I'm not a Wesley Crusher fan, as you know. But some of the times he schools Wesley Crusher, you think, you fucking little bastard.
No, I liked him for that. I did like him when he gave Wesley a good eye. Hey, I love that. I love that.
Who was giving Wesley a talk down? Right. Are you talking about Riker?
Yeah.
Oh, but also, then because you've watched seasons 1 and 2 and Riker, he actually like super looks after Wesley.
Are we just doing shit episodes? The last one was shit.
Oh, if that's
the last one was Chain of Command.
I didn't watch it. No, the last one was good. I'm getting confused which one I've done now.
Spock's brain you're thinking of, yeah.
That one.
In fairness, they have the best conversations. Like when we had Trials and Tribulations, everyone was just like, yeah, it's just fantastic, isn't it? Look at the filmography, fantastic. Look at this, and everyone was just agreeing. That's not good, is it?
It's not like Spock's Brain, which is a poor episode, but there's a lot to talk about. There isn't really much to talk about because you've got a little bit at the beginning, and then the rest of it is just clip show. And it's not like it's strung together. It's just literally like fade out and then another clip show. Oh, it's Riker kissing someone else. Oh, it's Riker kissing another person. Now Riker kissing another person. Now, Chris, did you watch it?
I'll be honest, because obviously I've been a bit busy lately. I didn't even know what episode we were talking about. I'll give it a go. Here we go. I mean, I've seen it, so I'll give it a go.
Go for it.
Shit, wasn't
it?
Yeah.
Well played.
That's better than your Spock's Brain review.
That's it. That's all you need to clip for the YouTube video, Dan. Right there, just that one review, and then we'll move. And then just move on to the.
Oh, there's a nice easy edit for you this week, Dan.
I mean, he's doing that 2-minute video clip.
What was the episode called?
Shades of Grey.
Shades of Shite.
So that's what it'll be. You know when you do that little voiceover bit at the beginning, today we talk about on Shuttlebay 4. Shades of Grey. And then it's going to go shit, won't it?
Yeah. Perfect. Job done. That'll have to be the shorter version. At the end, I'll have to have 2 versions. The normal version and the ultra short version. Shit, won't it?
I mean, to be fair, I really like Pulaski, and it was a Pulaski episode, so.
Well, I don't think Pulaski's good, isn't it?
I know she was.
She struggles with the lines. She knows it's all over the place. She knows it's shit.
And the last
episode to deliver the lines.
I'm going to say that's her last episode.
Well, she already knows that. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, she was just phoning it in, really. Then.
Right? Does
working from home?
Anyone want to listen to me? No. I know you've
Yeah,
had to
go
listen
on.
to me a lot.
Brush.
What I did was I didn't watch this episode by choice because it is awful and I've seen it enough. So what I did was I looked into the background of stuff and tried to find anything interesting. Maurice Hurley. Do we know Maurice Hurley? He was like he was one of the main writers and production on season 1 of TNG. This is one of his stories, and he was kind of forced to make it, and he's actually called it a piece of shit himself, and said it wasn't worth making. Maurice Hurley. Well, there's an interesting background to him. He was brought in originally by Gene Roddenberry's lawyer, who had absolutely no authority to bring somebody in like that, but therefore replaced what they already had as DC Fontana, which everyone knows, yeah?
Yeah.
DC Fontana is one of the, and also David Gerald from TOS. They were the ones he brought in from TOS originally, which were really good sci-fi writers. But this lawyer stepped in apparently and replaced them with this person. And he had no authority, but Gene Roddenberry was allowing all this to go on in the background. It was directed by Rob Bowman, who directed 13 episodes of The Next Generation. But what I find quite funny is he directed all the Data episodes, like Data Law, Q, Who, Brothers, Elementary, Dear Data. They were all really proper Data episodes. And then I think it felt like they kind of forced him because the reason they had to save money on this episode was because of overspend on Q-Who and Elementary Dear Data. And they brought him back in to direct this episode. And it felt like you fucking spent our budget. And now I'm going to make
you fix it.
Yeah.
Yes. He's also, everybody who's ever been involved in this has come out and said this is awful.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't have been made. He's the one of the people who've come out and said they should have just cut it to 21 episodes. Like you said, I think, John Joe, we didn't need this episode. We should have just, cut it to 21.
I am glad we've got an episode, though, at the end of the day.
Well, I don't know. I guess because we're talking about it still.
Yeah.
I've mentioned before, this is the last appearance we get to see of Pulaski, which is a shame. I really like Pulaski. I think the filming schedule was usually 7 days. They managed to finish this episode in 3 days. They only spent 2 days filming on like sick bay set, and that was it basically. Patches has mentioned only guest star Colmini. They give up the job of choosing the clips to a production assistant, Eric Stillwell, and he reckons he spent 80 hours over 1 week watching through all the episodes to find clips to give to the production staff, and then they chose, I think it was 17 episodes they used in the end, something like that. The original script included, when they go to the planet and this is where Riker gets impaled by this thorn.
I think impaled is a bit of a strong word.
Okay.
Scratched.
Pricked, yeah.
But the original script called for this whole planet. It was supposed to be like the whole forest came to life and attacked Geordi and Data. And again, budget. There was no budget already for this episode.
That makes so much sense because she said in the episode, sorry to cut you off there, in the episode they say the neural readings, it's almost like the whole forest's connected, but then...
Oh, okay. See, no, I didn't watch the episode, and that's great that you picked up on from the background, because that was the idea originally.
So that's obviously just stayed in that bit. That's really interesting.
Yeah, now you said that, and you've pointed out, that is actually quite interesting, yeah. And maybe that is worthy of an oh my.
So,
actually.
there you go. Oh my. So aside from the clips, Worf and Wesley don't appear in this episode. This episode has one of the...
Say that again.
Worf and Wesley, aside from the clips, don't appear in this episode.
Oh, I thought you said
the actors don't appear.
I thought you said Worf wears lederhosen in this episode.
Wow.
And I was like, what?
I'd like to see that. So this episode has one of the smallest casts. It's got 9 people in it. This is one of the smallest out of all the series ever. Footage from the Wrath of Khan was used in this episode. Did anyone see that?
No.
Well, you. You watched the episode. Go back.
I did see it, but I can't. Wait,
apparently, it was a clip just before. Do you know when Remick was was shown in one of the clips? The episode just before that.
Oh, the Klingon with the eye.
Was that?
No,
Remick. Remick is the one where in season 1 Conspiracy, where that alien takes him over. What the
heck? His head phases.
Is that the one whose head blew up?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God! Yes. Anyway, there is footage from the Rothacon in this episode. Last episode before the opening titles change. They change in season 3. And so that production assistant, Eric Stillwell, who chose the 80 hours of clips to choose from, he suggested, and it was actually almost seriously considered, the episode name be Riker's Brain. And they apparently, this is what's written, he almost persuaded them to do it, but then the episode name that they came up with, Shades of Grey, was also Eric Stillwell suggested that. So
that would have been brilliant.
Riker's Brain, it would have been quite cool.
That was a good. Do you know, Brush? I enjoyed that. Thank you.
That was more interesting than the episode.
Yeah, Brush is right. There's a whole lot more interested in the episode, and 2 opportunities were missed. It wasn't called Riker's Brain, and it should have been, to let us all know it was shocking. And 2, why weren't Worf wearing lederhosen? I mean.
Hello there and welcome to Shuttlebay 4. In this episode, Chris gives us an in-depth personal analysis of the episode Shades of Grey.
Shit, wasn't it?
Well played.